One, we're unmuting you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Ponzi-Reedy. I am the founder and maker of A Design. I am so excited to be here with Zune. I am going to show you not only what I make, but I'm actually going to make something live, which I've never done before. So welcome. And I am going to be joined by Alex. I think she's coming in. But yeah, so I have brought, oh, there she is.
Hi.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for joining us. I'm super excited for you to just show us how you make your stuff. I can't wait.
Good, good. So yeah, so I I take old and new. So I take vintage and new stuff and I create new designs. And so a lot of it's one of a kind or it's limited edition. So what you'll see is like you won't go to a party with anyone else with the jewelry on. So it's kind of special like that. So would you want me to start making?
And while you do, tell me what is A Design and how did you start your brand?
Okay, so A Design is after my two sons. Their first name is an A and a D, and so I thought it was a homage to him. And also, A Design. I feel like everyone has a design, everyone has a story, and so I used to be a social worker, oncology social worker, and a lot of times meeting people, meeting families, I would get to know their stories. And I feel like jewelry is so much part of everyone's individual stories, and not only that, I feel like I remember things I wore when I went to like my high school prom. Like I still remember the jewelry I wore and things like that. So certain milestones are very memorable. So that's why I started making a design and started using vintage pieces. And I also feel like there's so much out there, and it's a good way to save it from being in the trash.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what pieces are you showing us today?
So I'm going to show you one of my favorite chains. So I found this chain. It's at I'm out right outside of New York City, and so in New York they have these great. Well, they're actually they're not as many anymore, but there's this great place, and it's vintage stuff to the ceiling. And so this is actually a hand hammered vintage brass chain. And I what I love about it is it looks like just a mess of stuff, and there's so many things I can do with this. And so this is one of my limited edition pieces because obviously I can make tons of stuff, but when it's gone, it's gone. And so this is from the 70s.
Oh,
And so like for instance, I've made and I what I love about vintage brass is it actually holds its color really well. So here's the small pieces. All my jewelry for the earrings, because I never know with vintage what exactly like how much different metals in there are gold filled or sterling silver. So even though this part is the new part, the gold filled, this will be the vintage brass. And so there's that earring is made from that chain, and so is this one. So I love this because this is kind of edgier.
oh
And so you've
yeah,
got the
cool.
silver. Yeah. And so like this summer, and you probably know this, the big thing is mixed metals. So you can use silver and gold and just kind of have fun with it. But today I am going to make these because I love these because they move a lot
Oh yeah.
like a mobile. Hello. So so I'm gonna show you what I do. So I take, I'm self-taught, so I don't a lot of times draw stuff, hence why I have a lot of pride mistakes. But so this comes in a chain. As you can see, it's all one big chain. I don't know if which camera. So we're all one big chain. So it could be a necklace. A lot of times I've done is a double, but we're just going to do the earrings. So I'm going to cut it like this.
Okay, so you're using pliers here to
I'm
snap
using
it.
pliers.
Okay.
Yes, they work better than my teeth, I promise. But and like I don't like to waste this. I don't like wasting a lot of things. So for instance, I have a box. I'll show this box to you, and I just throw it in there. But a lot of times I'll do curly cues out of it. Let me see if I can find a curly cue. I can do curly cues out of it. So I might make an earring out of this later on. So this is kind of my like until later. So I'm going to cut it with the pliers. And because it's hand hammered, nothing's perfect. So there's two. I'm going to cut it again on this one, two here. And I feel like this is kind of my version of hoops. I love a good hoop. So
Me too.
what I will do, I know, it's like, right? Like you can put your messy bun and then just put a good pair of hoops on, you're ready to go.
Yep.
So I'm determining like I have a silver jump ring or I could do gold. And then I decide too, here, oops, as things go flying, here's a gold post. Do I want to post? Because some people are post people and some people are hook people, believe it or not. And then here's a hook. So I kind of try to figure out which one I'm doing. And we're going to do, I really like the silver and then the sterling silver and gold ball because I feel like that is going to be a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
let's get this
Are
ready.
you a hook or a post person? Do you have a preference?
I am a hook, but I worry sometimes about if I stretch my earlobes. But I'm more of a hook person, unless they're
Okay.
pretty heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I'm more of a post person unless in the hook I can like put a backing on it somehow cuz I
Yes.
dance, so I just worry about it just kind of like flying right off my ear if it's not really locked in there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And actually, most of the hooks I like if it's a hook, I put the backs on there because of that, and especially during the time we were all wearing masks, or even like in the winter time with hats, it's easy to have it come off, and then my earrings become a pendant because I only have one left. So,
Mm-hmm.
so here's a little trick for all the people who want to do this. It seems like natural that you have a jump ring and you want to take it apart this way. You don't. You take it side by side, so you keep the integrity of the circle. So I'm going
Okay.
to see how, and so I love how it just kind of moves. And especially like, so you're a dancer. Sometimes I like to play tennis. And so I like to wear earrings when I play tennis. So I don't want it too heavy, but I
Right.
want it to make a statement. So then I kind of close it up. And then here's the first earring. Let me show you. And I'll show you when I'll put it up here.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's just going to kind
pretty.
of hang. Yeah. And so, and I've made earrings where I've just done like this. So it's a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a long earring? Because dangles are
No.
in. Because of
I'm a
dancing, right?
Yeah, I'm a pretty short earring. Like I have a little gold hoop in right now, and that's kind of my go-to in terms of size. Just super easy,
Hmm.
good for daily use. But I mean, if I'm going to like some event or something and I want to look a little bit more extravagant, I would love to do a bit of a dangle. So those longer hoops would work great for that.
Right. And what's nice too is that you can always you can like get funky with your necklace or with your other jewelry when you have like more of a simple neck earring, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So so it's it's super simple, but yeah, it has a statement. And again, because it moves, I'm going to go up and hold it up because it moves. It just kind of whatever your hairstyle is or anything like that. This is just very simple.
Yeah, it looks super bouncy. It's super like dynamic and fun to look at.
Hmm.
So I love that.
But because it's brass, it doesn't have the cost of gold, and it's extremely light. Like you forget that
Mm-hmm.
you even have them on. So
Right.
so that's the first one. Um,
Cool. So, how
so
long have you been in this business? How long have you been making jewelry? What do you love about it?
well, I haven't been in it that long. I've actually been in it probably about 5 or 6 years. I used to do it for a hobby, and then
Mm-hmm.
I decided to take it seriously a little bit before 2020, which we all know what happened in 2020. And then I decided to really go all in. I said I was a social worker before, and I felt I was very compartmentalized about what I was doing, and I feel after George Floyd's murder and after COVID, I'm like, you know what? I'm going all in. I'm going to be myself and I'm going to do what I want to do. And I love how these vintage pieces, I try to find out the story behind the pieces because I feel like it's a relay race. Like, so whoever had it before, there were memories made with this, there are vintage pieces, and then now you're making new memories, new style, and you're even if it's just that one bead from that necklace that I take from it to make a new piece, there's like you're making a statement. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I like to do it. So
Yeah.
I wanted to show you also these really fun these are like
Oh,
some
the
of my
dog
favorite.
tags. Yeah.
Yes. So they used to be keychains. They're from the 70s also. I obviously like that decade a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But what I love is obviously I like a lot of color. And so I've never seen these before. And so the only one I don't have because it sold out was Pisces. So I don't know what was going on with the Pisces sign, but that was a popular one. But
Okay.
and I
What?
think because it's go ahead.
What sign are you? Just curious.
I'm a Virgo, and
Oh, okay.
yes, I know, don't judge, but I am a Virgo. What
No,
about
that
you?
that makes sense when you were talking about how you compartmentalize. I'm a Leo.
Okay, so yeah, that's nice. So what month is that? Leo is
July. I'm a July. Just
um,
July and August.
nice. Yes, yes. So yeah, and I love that they're orange. You know, it's interesting because sometimes when people will come and say, "Oh, I'm a Leo, but can you get that in blue?" And I'm like, "No, I mean, I can't because that's part of the piece." But
Yeah.
what I like about these is they're long. I'm gonna show you. They're long. Some are a
Oh,
little bit
yeah.
shorter. Um, and you can double it up. Or, again, the big thing is layering. And these are for everybody. I have men buy them, I have women buy them, kids buy them, adults. I just think, the zodiac, I mean, they people really like it, and I do too. And you can layer it too. So you can
Yeah.
wear like, some people like to wear their jewelry. They'll have that necklace that they wear all the time, like just a simple gold chain, and they don't want to take it off. You don't have to take it off with this. You just layer it. So,
So
yeah.
so
So
walk me through how did you make these necklaces in particular?
right. So, sometimes with some of my jewelry, the time that it takes is more of the hunt, and then putting it together is a little bit more simple. So they were just old tags, and they say that they were probably keychains. And so with this is a little bit trickier because I have to find something thick enough. So for instance, like this, what I used in the last one for the earring really isn't going to be strong enough for
Oh,
this
yeah.
type of tag. So you want something thicker. This one's even more thick. And what I like about this is if you don't want this long of a chain, because this is longer, it's easy, it can come off, and you can put it on the chain that you want. So it's very
Cool.
versatile. Yeah. So I'll find it, and then I do that, and then I'll find the different chains. And I have two different kinds. There's a small one here, or there's a little chunkier one. Again, I like bold, so I like the chunky, but a lot of people like the smaller one. They feel like it's more their style.
Yeah. How would you style this? Would you like consider just wearing it with just that necklace? I know a lot of times layering is in. Would you think that that would work with this type of style?
Yes, definitely. So, for instance, if you want to see, I have, again, I guess I love my Virgo. This is a vintage medallion too. And so I would have this, and then I would just wear it long. So you can just wear it, and
Cool.
again, I mix metals a lot. So even though this is gold and this is silver, I like that. And you could grab like the earrings that I just made, which are silver and gold, and then so then it all kind of ties together.
Yeah.
So
So you had mentioned
definitely.
that you go to vintage stores and you find these things.
hmm
Is that kind of the main source of where you find your jewelry, or how do you find everything?
It's a little bit everywhere. So sometimes people will donate it. It's like their Aunt Martha, but it wasn't their style, but they don't want to throw it away. And then 10% of all my sales goes back to a featured nonprofit. And so I feel like they feel like it's giving back. So that's why a lot of times I'll try to get a story. I also go into the city and go to flea markets, go to estate sales. But there's this one place. I don't know if I can say what it is, but it's this place in the city. It is literally stacked up with boxes of vintage stuff. And I remember one of the first times I was there, I mean, you can barely move, but like you dig. It's a true treasure hunt. A box fell over, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. And then I looked down, and there was this this bead that I was amazed. I'm like, oh well, that's my benefit. And so I picked it up, and you literally are walking on beads there. And so it's like it does look like a scene from Hoarders, but people come from all over, and it truly is spectacular. And there's two dogs there too, because why not? And they're just well behaved, and they kind of hang out with you. And they don't have any fine jewelry, but a lot of times they'll have different vintage chain, which is where I got for the earrings that I made the first time. And I use a magnet because a lot of times I don't like to get base metal because it will turn pretty fast. So I'll try to get brass. So it truly, like when I describe it or when I show it on my social media, people are like, what is that place? And I'm like, it's
Yeah.
like, what am I've never not found an amazing place. And it's family run. It's a dad and daughter, and so I love also try to supporting this
Small
like
business.
family owned businesses. Yep,
Sure.
yep, and then with their two dogs. So why not?
It's really cool to see stories like that because all of these materials that would normally go to waste or get thrown in the trash essentially are being reused and repurposed to make beautiful jewelry like yours, which that's really cool.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So it's really a lot of fun. And then some of my favorites. So a little personal about me. So as I said, I have two boys, but I have a son who's a senior in high school. And so he is now going to, we just found out this week, he decided finally to NC State, so North Carolina State. So we're so
Okay.
excited. And I love thinking of different ways of showing your school pride without being so tacky.
Mm-hmm.
So like you don't have to be all in the colors. So back in the day, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you here in the close up. Back in the day, people, when they would travel around, they would get a charm and get a charm bracelet. This can be a bit much. This is like, I mean, it's a lot of jingle and stuff like that. So what I do is I'll find this at a vintage store. I forgot where I found this. Obviously they were very southern because we have Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it apart and just make one because then people they love their states. Um,
Yeah.
so and yeah, I mean I live here in New York. I'm from the Midwest, and so I'm a good Indiana girl. But so I'll show you how I make this. So the interesting thing with these, and actually I have a South Carolina one or North Carolina. See, I don't even know what state he's going to, so I have to get better about that one. But a lot of times these jump rings are like they're kind of crummy. So I won't use them. I mean, I'll like put them in the metal part or see what happens. So here's the charm, and then I like here's some of my finished pieces. So I liked kind of playing around with the different stones and see which one goes well. I like the multicolored ones too. So because what's great about that is that you're going to find something to wear and it's very, very neutral. Um, and then the other thing too, what is great is you can stack these. So because you don't have a big, huge, chunky charm bracelet that's going to rattle, you could actually wear some other bracelets too, or you can wear it by
Mm-hmm.
itself.
Cool. So how were you
So
inspired to create these vintage bracelets? Because they're so unique and specific. So I just want to know what stemmed your inspiration for this.
I think I wanted to show school pride or I wanted to show
Mm-hmm.
state pride without having to be so obvious about it. Because
Yeah.
sometimes the statement that you're making, sometimes it's just to yourself, but yet you have that pride. So I think, and I love the enamel because again, I love color. So I'm going to make a stretchy one. And the key with the stretchy bracelets is you want to kind of stretch it out beforehand. Otherwise, it could stretch out while people are wearing it. This is going to be pretty long, so I'll have a lot to cut. And I think one of the things to take care of stuff, where did it go? I just dropped. There it goes. Um, Technical difficulties. One of the things when people have stretchy braces is what they do is they will like pull it and to put it
Mm-hmm.
on, and you really need to roll it. I mean, there's no perfect stretchy bracelet. So eventually, it could go out of shape. So you're trying to prolong the life as long as possible. So
Got
I'm going
it.
to again do the same thing I did before is I'm going to put the jump ring on here and so it's ready to go. Um, but yeah, so I just think the enamel ones are so pretty. I just think they're just kind of fun to play and see how they kind of come to life. I mean, if you don't, even like this one here, it is South Dakota. So you have that blue, but just with the silver, it pops.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I love, like you said, I love the different colored ones. I love colors, so it's
mhm.
just really fun to look at.
And now that North Carolina will be a new stomping grounds, I have to embrace and be all in.
Yeah,
So,
I went to school in North Carolina, so I'm a fan. I love North Carolina. It's a great state. It's beautiful.
where'd you go to school?
I went to Elon, so not too far from NC State.
Okay. As long as they're not rivals or anything, we'll be okay.
No, no, they're not rivals. I don't think Elon has a rival in anything really. So, no worries. I went there for theater. So.
Switzerland. Oh,
Yeah, we're
fun.
Switzerland or something. So where do you make your jewelry? Do you have to go to a workshop? Can you just like do this all the time? You're watching a TV show, you're making your bracelets.
Some I can make, like what I'm making here today is fairly simple, and so I don't need a lot of attention. There are other things, especially I think when I'm designing, like a when I'm taking a necklace apart and I'm trying to kind of see what inspires me. This is my showroom here at HUDCO, which is a co-working space. So I have my showroom and I meet clients here. But then in my house, I have my workshop, and I like music a lot. I like live music. I like regular music. And so I will crank on the songs. And sometimes that inspires me. Sometimes, depending what I put on, sometimes I'll do a nice shuffle. Uh, and then I'll get lost in it. And so that's what I'll
Yeah.
do. I'll just shut the door, or I'll put a good SVU on. Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but anyway, I put a good show on. So, um, yeah. So
Cool.
I'm kind of measure it. The nice thing about stretchy is, like, it can vary on people's wrists, and to take it, sometimes people say this is too big, this is too small. I usually can adjust it, and if I have to take it apart, it's okay. If I have time, I can just easily do it.
Yeah.
So,
So how do you come up with the names of your jewelry pieces? How do you like name the bracelets, the charm bracelet, the dog tags? What's your
well, if you go on my website, you're like, what does that mean? Sometimes it's like, if I add some heart charms, it'll be something that is related to that. And sometimes, because I'm listening to music or I'm listening to a show, I will pull a sentence that comes out from that show and just be like, okay, I'll
Okay.
just do it that way. Yeah, so you'll be able to tell if I'm watching something on a show that's reality or something that's a crime. So yeah.
You
So,
have
but yeah, but
you have like a
sometimes, like,
bracelet
I will,
collection that's like, "Oh my God, we're breaking up."
yeah,
Reality show.
scandalous. So, so with this, what I do is I do a surgical knot. So what you want to do, sometimes people think, oh, you just tie a knot. That's if someone does that and makes a bracelet like that, it's going to break. So
Mm-hmm.
I tie it, double tie it, and then I tie it again, and then it's really kind of pulling it. And this is where, and hopefully this doesn't come apart because that would be quite interesting in life. But I kind of pull it around and play with it because that has happened, and then you just start over again because I think that's the thing about these pieces is nothing's really perfect, especially the vintage.
Right.
Something may have a smudge on it or something, and that's, to me, that's life. Like, it's just like that's the way life goes. So
Yeah.
sometimes the imperfections are the favorite part. So here I'm going to cut it because I'm going to want to try to hide this knot. My sister and I, we used to have pottery as our growing up as our plates, and there's one plate that had this horrible imperfection, had this big round dot, which I'm sure was like whatever. That was the favorite plate. We would come fisticuffs to fight over that silly plate that had the imperfection. So
Aw.
what was probably imperfection to the artist was the favorite plate for us. I always add a little piece of glue,
I was
just
gonna
to kind of
say, what
secure
is
it.
that?
Yep.
Okay.
The problem with the glue, with this type of glue, is that it's metal and it's going to keep coming out. And then I'm going to hide it, and while it's wet too, I'm going to hide it so it kind of stays glue. And I like to
Mm-hmm.
let it set for at least 24 hours and then I'll test it again because I feel like you need to make sure that the glue has set. And this is the tricky part, and where I'm going to get glue all over my hands, but it's a little needle that goes right into the glue part. So
Oh.
that's always fun. Don't do that on a Friday night for sure. But um, so there. So I have actually another North Carolina on my website. Actually, I have this one. So this is a solid one. So this is with malachite. So I thought one of my favorite combos is pink and green. So I loved playing with that. So
Yes, I love that, like Cosmo and Wanda.
right, exactly.
Sure, Alex.
So
What is the
you're
craziest
like,
piece of jewelry you have found while shopping, going to these vintage stores, or anything like that really sticks out to you that you're like, oh my God, like this is insane. I can't believe I just found this.
there are a couple things. One is I have found some old vintage Louis Vuitton locks. So they're locks,
I
and I
heard
have,
about this. I heard this. I was like, oh my God,
yeah,
Liz was telling me this.
Yes. So they're a little heavy because they're locks, but I love playing with that because I feel like also everyone can wear a lock. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll include the key with a lock, sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll make something with just a long key, like just the key and not even the lock, so it's a little bit lighter. I One of my favorite pieces is I found a old Samsonite key, and the way they used to have it is like where the fat part is, it's a smiley face. It's like a face with a guy with a hat and stuff. So I love stuff like that. I did something, I won't say the name, but I for a corporation, and so I found a bunch of really cool brass pieces from their warehouse. So it probably was on like one of their equipments or whatever, and I found it and I made some necklace out of it. Like this, for instance, the one I'm wearing right now, this is from an old warehouse. Here, I'll take them off and
Cool.
put them in a better camera. This is from a warehouse. So there's that piece. And then this tag, which I used to have worn along, this used to be on military. So you would put it on your bag, and if it got lost, you would throw it in the mail and it would be fine. So that's really cool.
Wow.
I think probably too, those are like different, like really different. I think some of my favorite pieces is I'll do custom orders sometimes too, or someone will say this was a person who passed away, and they want again they want to do something that reminds them, but like this isn't my style. So I'll take a bead, I'll get to know them, I'll get to know their story, find out what maybe the person's favorite color was and things like that. And I will make something in honor of that, but in their style. So I think to me, finding out about the person or about the story behind the product, or knowing that there was again a story about it. So that's what I love doing.
Wow. Cool. A little kind of going off of that, what is the most challenging thing you have tried to turn into jewelry? Is it the locks, or is it something a little bit even crazier? Anything that sticks out in your brain?
I think sometimes because we use vintage pieces, you don't know what the metal is. So I have done stuff where I'm like, this is amazing, and I kind of design it in my mind, and then, and then like it almost comes together, and then like something like falls apart, or it's like a little bit cheaper
Mm,
than I thought it was. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened. And so it all falls apart. So, and
oh.
another thing, so I think that's kind of like the most challenging is when you don't know, like it looks really cool, but then as you're working with it, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I love also working with vintage resin. I feel like again, like I said, the vintage brass and the vintage resin is like much better. And like for instance, like this piece right here, this is it's a vintage piece of resin. It's red and white. So I'm actually going to probably make earrings out of this. I went to Indiana, so these are, and this is the stripe here. I'm going to show it underneath the camera so you can see it. And so I'll probably make some like either a bracelet out of it, with the pieces that before they become things, sometimes I sit with it for a little bit just to kind of see what I want to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of what I do is if I make something and I don't like it, I'll just take it apart. Or if I make something and then I'm like, I got tired of it, I'll just take it apart. So, yeah.
Cool. So cool. I keep looking at those bracelets. I just love although, the stretch ones are kind of a little bit difficult and they might break and all that. I just love those, like you can put each individual little piece on it. It just looks
Hmm.
so pretty. All of those kind of laid out there. Looks so
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's a lot of fun. And I try to like again, that's why you saw me stretching it out. You saw me tying it up. I let it sit
Mm-hmm.
for a little bit. When it's done, I'm going to stretch it out again. I'm going to kind of play with it. I have a little bit of bigger wrists, and so I'll try to even like try it to make sure like what will happen. And then I just try to tell people like just roll it. I mean, I
Right.
believe that jewelry should be handled, and I mean, my jewelry is nothing like it's, in the sense of fine and delicate. So I want you to touch it. I want you to feel it. I want you to like have it be part of you. I want you to, you're trying on clothes, you're trying different stuff for the day, that you can do that. So
Yeah. I was just doing a show in Florida a couple months ago, and on our downtime in between like shows or rehearsal breaks, whatever, we started to make bracelets with the stretch kind,
hmm
very similar to yours, not as pretty, but so it just kind of brings me back. And my friend was much better at it than me, and she would kind of show us like, okay, here's how you make the knot. You do want to stretch it first, all of that. So
right.
it's interesting to see it done in a much better way, but a very similar thing. So that just like up front
It's
brought me
great
back.
because you're right. Everyone can do it. And I think it's great because you can kind of play with it. And then, it's, and then you can take it apart and you put it back together. A funny story is when I started doing jewelry, I was actually inspired by when I used to work at the cancer center. My boss used to make jewelry also, and so my husband was like, "Well, how hard is it?" And he's probably going to kill me that I'm telling you this, but how hard could jewelry be making? I'm going to make my own jewelry. So he goes, and there's no rhyme or reason for what he bought. I'm not quite sure what he was thinking, but just grabbing beads from the store. So he puts it all together. And like, for instance, like I told you about the jump ring, there's a certain way you have to do it or it's going to come open. He didn't do that. So he kind of strings it together, and I'm not quite sure how he like secured it, and he didn't. And so he gives it to me, and I hold him like, that's great. And I put it down on the bed, and it completely comes apart. So some things are easier,
no.
some things are hard. Sometimes you just need to know that little trick, like stretching it and tying it right, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're fine. But yeah, so that's kind of a funny story. So I tell him he's one of my inspirations of how not to do it. So
Yeah, he's like, okay, dear, whatever you say.
he's,
So
he's like,
I
okay.
understand. I understand that you also work with clients that provide you jewelry that they
Hmm.
then want you to make things from. Could you tell me a little bit more about that? What is your favorite part in doing that? Because I feel like that's probably a little bit of a different process for you. So yeah.
Right. I like to get to know the person. I like to
Mm-hmm.
kind of find out what they're wanting, what they want to do, where they're going to wear it. Is it going to be an every day? Is it not going to be every day? And a lot of times the reason they're redoing it is that there's some meaning behind it. So I'm recently doing one for a whole family whose loved one passed away, and so actually they ended up having someone make, not me, and it fell apart, and so they only have like maybe 12, 15 beads. And so I'm going to incorporate that in a new piece. And I got to know who this loved one was. I got to know about them. So there's going to be meaning. So again, they're going to wear it. It's not going to be like a billboard or anything, but they're going to know when they wear it, it gives them some comfort that that was from their loved one. So I try to make stuff really personal. I mean, a good example would be, I'm going to show you if you can see. I can take it off
Mm-hmm.
if you want me to. So this, actually, I'll take it off and see how that goes. Um, this used to be my grandmother's, and my grandmother was very creative. She came, it goes right there. She came from Germany with nothing, pretty much, because she met my grandfather in World War II. And so this part right here, this bottom part, was
Uh-huh.
this was just this earring, and it was very like this isn't anything valuable in the sense of like you're not this isn't real gold or whatever, but to me it means a lot because it used to be hers. But I wanted more than just this thing because I like dangles. So I decided to redesign it with this one bead to kind of pull it together. And then I know I told you I was a hook girl, but this is a post. And I think partly because, like what you said, I was afraid I didn't want to lose it. I
Right.
wanted to make sure. So from that, I was inspired because I think, again, I like these pieces. I liked the way it looked. I felt like you can wear it with jeans, or you can wear it dressed up, because the dangle kind of adds a little bit of zhuzh to it. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna hold it up here. So I made something like this. So even though this round part, I'm gonna go in the closer up. This round part isn't isn't like my
Oh,
grandmother's. But it's that same style. And the
yeah.
middle stone is an agate. And what I love about these stones, and I think you can tell more in this one, is let's see if it gets close up. When it gets cut or when it kind of has a nick, it's kind of shiny inside. I like it when it's not a perfect stone. And again, I think sometimes jewelry tells a story, and a lot of times that's life. Like sometimes your blemishes or your hard times help you become a better person in the now. So
Yeah.
that, I think, to me that means a lot. So that kind of is the same thing as with these stones. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so these
Those
are
are beautiful.
available. Thank you. And this cloisonne, this bead, I found from that place that the really cool place. I will say the treasure hunt.
Are
So,
you
and it was
gatekeeping where you got the materials for this? These
sometimes.
are
Well,
called the. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I think, I mean, you have to be in the business, but sometimes, I mean, no, because trust me, if you want to, there's enough there for everybody, as you could
Mm-hmm.
see in that place. I mean, good luck. And that's the thing. The thing about a place like that is, and the thing about even going to estate sales or a flea market is it's kind of that very impulse buy, because it's not like you
Mm-hmm.
can go back and get it again, or like once it's gone, it's gone. And
Right.
that's also why I love the limited edition. And I'm going to be very sad. I will have to show when I am out of this gold chain that I showed you. When I'm out of
Mm-hmm.
this chain, I'm going to be very sad because I have made some great pieces. I've had some amazing people buy those pieces and wear it and show me, and they make it their own. And I think what I love about jewelry is how you can make it your own. It tells a story, you make memories. And for me, it's always fun to see it. Like sometimes people will show me pictures and they're like laughing with girlfriends, or they're having a girls' weekend, or they were on a date, or they're at a wedding, and to see the jewelry as a part of that story is really kind of for me such an
So
honor
cool.
to
Yeah.
be a part of that.
Right. So the earrings that you're wearing that you just talked about, those
Hmm.
are the
Hmm.
Inspired by You earrings, right? That is the name of them?
No, the inspired by me are
Oh,
the ones, the blue ones are these. The ones I'm wearing, the ones that were my grandmother,
right. So
and
the,
this one's the inspired one. So these aren't for
okay.
sale,
Right.
but these are. And so yeah, I decided not to put them in since, people know that they've never been worn. So
Yeah. Well, I
hmm
guess I'm going to take you guys through how to get these beautiful jewelry pieces from you. Walk in. So here we go. If you go refresh the screen, oh my gosh, that's me. All you need to do is click, and here we go. You can see all of the products. This is at the Opera. This picture is gorgeous. You can see the product details. You can go straight to
And can
buy
I tell
it
you a little bit
now.
about that piece? Yes.
Or if you want to just see more from a design, you can click on the brand and go through all of their products. But it's at the shop, the show. If you go to the live, it's at the bottom of the screen. It's super easy, and you can see everything that has been shared with us. Here we go. All of the products we've been talking about today for the last 30 minutes or so, you can see right here. Super easy to get. Melissa, I think you wanted to tell us about the opera necklace that you had showed on the
Yes.
screen. That I showed on the
Yes. So
screen?
the opera, yes. So the opera next, the reason you asked me about names and how I come up with names. So the reason I came up with that name is that came from a chandelier that was from the Opera House apartment on the Upper West Side. And so I have two friends who, one was actually I used to work with as a social worker, and he's like, I have the chandelier. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm like, don't get rid of it. Do not. I will come. I will get it. Whatever. So it turns out I couldn't come get it, but he brought it to me. So imagine, I mean, even if you're not from New York, you know Times Square. It is busy. It's crazy. He went on the subway and he was carrying the chandelier, and I met him in Times Square with as he's carrying the chandelier and saying, "Here you go." And so there's a journey with it. It was from the Opera House apartment. And what I love about the pendant is because it's actually from a chandelier, it carries a light so much better. It's a little bit heavier, but not too heavy. Because I did test it out to make sure like it wasn't like weighing you down or anything. But when the light hits it, it's just the rainbow and the prism is so much better. But just imagine some guy walking around or on the subway with a chandelier. He's like, I've had a lot of strange looks from this. I'm like, you think maybe, but it was great. So I like to use like that when you talked about weird things, and I don't think of anything as weird. I think of just
Mm-hmm.
kind of more interesting and so I think that's sometimes an interesting piece. I have found a couple chandeliers that are green, and so when you find those different color crystals, that's a lot of fun. I've done some bottle cap beads that are kind of fun. So you never know, and I think again it's just about the story and what speaks to people
Mm-hmm.
and what people how they react to it, or how they feel when they put it on. And I think you can have a really bad hair day. You could be like, and you have to go and run errands, or you're with the kids, or whatever. It's like, to me, earrings and jewelry is kind of, if you have the right piece, it's a no-brainer. You
Yeah.
put them on and it completely changes your mood. Or a good pair of earrings, some lipstick and hair up, and you're good to go. Where if
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have that, if you just put your hair up with not a good pair of earrings, you may feel like, am I looking kind of not put together or whatever, but earrings are really powerful. So are necklaces. And so that's why I love jewelry so much, because it just can completely transform your mood. And
Yeah.
when somebody will come to you and say, "Hey, I really like those earrings," or "Hey, I really, those look great," in a way, it's kind of a catalyst to a compliment. They look
Right.
great. They look great on you. Who doesn't want to have some like positive energy going your way?
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day. They were like, if you could pick one, if you could only pick one, would you to wear? Would it be jewelry? I mean, would it be earrings, a necklace, or rings? And I love wearing rings, but I think I answered, I said earrings, because it really does
Hmm.
make all of the difference. You put your hair up in a bun, like you were just saying. Even going to the grocery
Hmm.
store, I'm like, oh, like I look kind of like crap. I put my hoops in and I'm like, I actually look fine. Like it
I'm gonna
makes
go.
all the
Right. Let's
difference.
go
I'm
out.
good to go. Exactly. It's
Yeah,
so funny. And
exactly.
like every time I go out and I've forgotten my earrings or really any of my jewelry, I'm always like, I feel like
It
naked
feels weird,
without
right?
it. It feels
Yes.
so weird. So yeah,
Yes.
jewelry
And
is
then you
so
keep like
so
playing
important.
with it. You keep playing
Mm-hmm.
with like where like what's missing and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and I do like a
yeah.
nervous thing. When I'm nervous, I'm always like twiddling with my earrings. So when I don't have it, I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? So, yeah.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
what is your favorite jewelry piece to wear? Do you have anything specific that just kind of like warms your heart whenever you put it on?
I mean, my grandmother, obviously, I'll put this part. I wear this all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
I love this. This is one of my first pieces I made where I kind of went to a flea market, and like you can see, like this is completely worn off. And I like the fact of, I call it the lost one, because there's a key. You get lost, you go in a key, and then the warehouse tag. And so I like combining different things together that you may not necessarily use. I have some subway tokens. I have some tokens from, again, I told you, from Indiana, from Indianapolis, like they're like bus tokens. And so it's sometimes a process, because sometimes I'll get it and especially like a place like the one in the city, where in my mind, like my mind's racing as I'm like getting stuff. I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do this, and this, and then I get home and I kind of forgot, or if I haven't taken notes, and then I kind of have to be around it again and say, okay, what is speaking to me, and I'll sometimes, just like I did there, I'll lay things out, what works, what doesn't work, I'll play with it, and then I'll put it together, and I like the process of making it. And my when I wrap it, sometimes I wrap things, it may not be perfect, it'll be tight, but again, I feel like that's life. And sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
the imperfect, no one's going to see that imperfection. And it may not be completely exactly like if it was a machine, completely exactly in that line, but I feel like it just makes it unique. So
Right.
yeah. So mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, for those of us who maybe missed this in the beginning, could you just walk us through your tools and materials again? Show us how you make your pieces, what process that entails, just to, in case people missed it, because it's so cool. Fun to
Yes, absolutely. So,
make it.
so anyway, so the major tools, I'll go here. So these are all the major tools you have. They all they look the same, but they're actually not. So you have here. This is round, so a lot of times I have to wrap the wire around. I can do that. These are cutters, so they'll cut any kind of cord or metal like this. So, and then the pliers, because like I said, with the jump ring, you don't want it to be, you don't want to, if you go like this, it's gonna get out of shape. So you want to go
Mm-hmm.
like this. And so, like, for instance, I'll show you. I was saying, this is kind of my scrap. So like let me show you these earrings. So I made these earrings. But
Mm-hmm.
what I might do is, I had to break off I have a scrap here. So what I may do is, I'll take these pliers where it's all round, and I'm gonna make a curlicue. So, and
That's
so I'll just
perfect that
start.
you said that, because I was just about to ask you, what do you do with material pieces that you don't use? And it seems that you make it into something else.
I do. I try to save it. I try to use it again. I've actually, I feel like people should be more creative. I feel like it's a good outlet. It's a good way, even if you're not selling it, you're not professional.
Mm-hmm.
There can never be not enough creativity. And I think if more people did that, they might be happier. We might have a better place to live. And like, who doesn't like something, that you've created with your own hands? So
Right.
I'm going to put a loop here. So I kind of play around with it. So, it looks like a little pig's tail, but what I've done is I may take that. So say I'm not completely closed. I'm going to grab this chain again. So, as we're talking, this was completely not planned, but I'm talking to you. I'm kind of inspired uh, in the sense of, and so I'm going to add it to there. And so the thing about metal too is certain metal, if you play with it, keep playing with it, it's going to get harder and harder. And I didn't bring my torch, so sometimes you have to make it soft by getting it hot again.
Heating it.
But this one
Okay.
should be fine. Yes, it's called a annealing. So there. So that's like, and so what I may do then, actually, let's see if I can do this. I don't have my what I will do also after this is like whatever with the jump rings, because they're so small, is I'll go back with, I have special glasses, even they're not as cute as the ones I have on, but they're special glasses that I will put, that I can, like magnifying. So I'll make sure there's not a gap. So I'm going to put it in here.
Okay, so is this a post earring then that you're making?
This is, yes, Alex, this is just for you. This is a post earring.
Thank you so much, Melissa.
And so yeah, so all these post people, this is for them. And actually, have you seen, like, some people are just wearing one earring now.
Oh, I
Like,
know.
that's kind of a look too. Yeah. So this is kind of fun because it's a statement, and I'm going to hold it up to me so you can see. So if you hold it, so this is a little bit longer. My hair's long. But see, so just then, and then so this way, this part, which was that part that I cut, doesn't have to be thrown out. And I could
Cool.
even, and what I love about this is, like, say, you know what, this is too short, believe it or not. I could then take it, I could take that apart and I could add another hoop to it. And I
Yeah,
could make, I could make it super, yeah.
so cool. I love how you're just, on the spot making us a pair of earrings. Please keep going. I do have a question though. So, as somebody who's had to deal with, quite a bit of piercings, and I used to have more, but due to like infections and just all of that, is how safe, I guess, are your earrings for people with sensitive ears? I feel like a lot of people have to deal with that, including myself. So, yeah.
Right. So all my ear posts, like the one that I showed you with this one, are gold filled or sterling silver. So there's there's not brass. Now there's some people that really have a bad allergy that they need 24 karat gold. That's not what I usually have, because I want to make jewelry affordable, because I think everyone should have a good pair of earrings that's not going to break the bank.
Right.
But if you need it, we can do it. It just changes the price. But usually it's gold filled and sterling silver. So, like, for instance, here's a good example of what sometimes happens. So this was a broken one, and I made it curly Q, but because there was a joint here where probably they soldered it together, it's breaking. So I'm going to do this.
Okay.
It's broken. So then I may just then kind of play with it and say, okay, can I take it apart? Or what I may do with it, actually, I know what I'm going to do. I'm doing something different than I did. I'm going to close it up, and I'm going to make this for a necklace. So you could easily, let's see if I have I could easily take a cord, and I could put, like, here, I'm going to do, so say this is a chain. It's not, but say it is. We'll pretend time. I could put in here, or actually, as I'm doing this now, I could actually make this into an earring. I think that's kind of cool. Like, what do you think?
Oh, I think it's so cool. I think it's also just so cool how you can just go from, oh, okay, well, it's not going to work like this, but I'm going to make it into a necklace. Oh, wait, no, I can make it into this type of earring. It's so malleable. So that's really cool how flexible you can be with these metals.
Well, that's what I try to play with everything. And I think sometimes, that's why, I mean, I'll do custom stuff in the sense of, can you redo this? Can you do this necklace that has a bead in it? But it's hard for me if I will never do where someone has a picture and says, remake this, because it's someone else's design, and that's not right or fair. And I feel like that's not my thing to replicate things like that. It's my thing to, like, let's come up with something that actually maybe uses that piece, or what, I'll find out, like, why do you like that piece, or what is it about that you like, and then we'll do it that way. So here it's like, again, like, I have to kind of play with this because you don't want it to get stabbed while it's in your ear. But I think, like, and then what I'll do, Alex, you're watching this. These may be my new favorite earrings that I'm making right now. I'll have to, like, put this on the website tomorrow. So what I'll do here is I'm going to make a loop here. Make another loop here. And then again, if I don't make it exactly, this is going to become a necklace. And forget, they're not my favorite earrings. They'll be my favorite necklace. So, and I'm
What do
going
you
to
think you're
come.
gonna call this piece, whether it be earrings or turn out to be a necklace? Like,
Oh,
what do you think?
maybe it'll be, oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Soon. I'll see you soon. That's what I'm going to call it. I'll see you soon is what I'm calling these.
I
And
was
I can
hoping
make
that
more of
my
these.
name would be worked in there somehow, but
Well,
I know
Alex,
soon's
these
like a
aren't
good
posts.
choice, I guess.
These aren't posts. So if they were
Oh, you're
posts,
right.
I would name it. But you know what? Here, Alex, you
Thank
know
you,
what I'll
Melissa.
name? Where's this one? This will be the Alex right here because it's a
Oh,
post.
perfect. I
There you
love it.
go.
Thank you.
So here's the Alex, and here's the see you soon. So there, and you actually, you know what? I'm going to combine these. I'm going to
Oh
make it
my
so this is a
gosh.
hook, and so they can go like this. Like, how fun is that?
That's so
So
fun.
you have this one,
Uh
yeah,
huh.
this one. So I will have these up on and ready to go for tomorrow
Oh my
because
God.
I don't have
I
enough
have
to
to
do.
get
I'm going to do
them.
something else.
Yeah, just add it to
But
your
this is
plate,
so
just
much
for
fun.
me, Melissa.
Just for Alex, anything for you, anything. But like you, so you actually got to see my process of what how I do things, and if there is,
So
you
cool.
know, I don't sketch things, and I probably shouldn't. And like, if I could replicate this again, I will not be able to. It could be something similar. So you know, because for instance, here's another curly Q. Here's a good example. They're two totally different, and it's the same one. So
So
even if I,
cool.
so if I hung it, yeah, and so, but
It is literally
yeah,
one of a kind.
mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
So yeah, this will be called See You Soon, Alex.
Yes.
There
Up
you
on the
go.
Soon website tomorrow. Soon exclusive, everyone.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
I love that.
This way you have to be a hoop and a hook and a post person though. So when you can't make up your mind, here
You
they
can
are. These
have
are
both.
yours. These are you can have both. Yes, or you just wear one, whichever one you want to do.
Yeah. Do you have a particular favorite material to work with? Like, do you love working with brass? Do you have anything else that you love?
I love working with color. So I even think so. Here's I'm going to show you another piece. So this is like a red resin. So I think that's a lot of fun, and it could
Mm-hmm.
go with something clear. I love resin because it's so light but yet colorful.
Uh-huh.
So I like playing with that type of material. And
Cool.
then so I like what I'll do sometimes is I will here I'm going to put it underneath here so you can is I will throw stuff in a container. So I'll just throw it in there and I'll say like I'll kind of see what comes together. So I may do something with these. I may do some earrings like that. I love this color. I think
Oh,
sometimes people don't like
fun.
color, and I don't know who they are. They're not my people, but um, I'll entertain it. But then but even like too, you could do like some of this together if you want to. Again, here we go. We went from Indiana. We could go to red, white, and blue. There you
My
go. Then you
gosh.
can get ready
Yeah.
for July 4th. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then, and if you don't like the color, then we could go like these are some fun pieces I found. So um, this is a lucite silver, and it looks heavy and it looks big, and it's not. So you can actually wear this really big bracelet, and it's not going to weight you down. It's not even going to hurt anyone if you hit them. But so, and then you have these big like not that you want to hit anyone, kids. Sorry.
I mean,
Um,
sometimes.
well, we'll keep that inside our head. But and like what I love these. So this is another resin where I will probably combine it, but because again, you see this is where you kind of have to problem solve is these are both solid circles. So I may take a big silver jump ring and connect you have to figure out a way to connect it. So I'll do it that way. So again, this is like resin pieces and I love doing that. And I not just the state charms. I'm going to show you. I have my little charm, I don't know, my charm
Mm-hmm.
container where I'll make a bracelet and I just feel like sometimes you just need something. There's a little amore. I'm gonna put it on the other. Sorry, camera people. Um,
Cool.
or I will do if you like to gamble, which I won't say who in my family does, but a lot of them do. There's a little jackpot. And then what I love about the maker community is it really is such a community. And so can I tell you a quick story?
Yes.
Um, I met this woman. I wanted to do hearts. So I wanted to do this heart. It was Valentine's Day. So I found this heart necklace that had all these hearts on it. I'm like, this is great because I can break it up. And then I posted on Instagram, and this woman responds and goes, "Hey, that's my necklace I designed." It was the actual designer. And I thought to myself, uh-oh, like I'm like taking everything apart. And she was so cool. She's like, "I have so much more stuff for you. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." So she, and then like I kind of forgot about it, and I thought she forgot about it. And then one day at work, I hear my showroom, I got this package, and it had all these like incredible charms that she designed back in the day that she just decided to give me. So there's like this, okay, I'm gonna go the close one. The other one. There's this I used to play an instrument, now
Music,
I
a
don't know
treble
what it is.
clef.
The treble. There
Treble
you,
clef.
that's right. I should ask you, Alex. You're the
Yes.
music person. That's right. What's your favorite musical you've ever been in?
Carousel, by far.
Oh,
It's my
that's a good
favorite
one.
musical of all time.
Really? Wow. I just saw Tommy again. I saw Tommy in The Notebook.
Oh,
They're
how
both
was The
really good.
Notebook? I heard mixed things.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, I've never read the book or seen the movie. So
Oh,
I know it's everyone, no, no hating, no haters, please, please, please. But I thought it was really good. And I thought the actors were amazing. And I needed a good cry that day. So it actually worked out very, very well for me.
oh well then good.
So,
I'm glad.
yes. So I thought it was good. But I think I'm going to see The Wiz, which I'm super excited
Oh
about. I
yes,
just
I
hope
have
I
a
don't
couple
sing.
friends in that.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I sure do. So, Melissa, we
Right.
are wrapping up here, but if you could just quickly recap your all the products we talked about today, all the things that we can get here on the Soon app, that would be great.
So yeah, so we talked about the mixing it up. So there are these earrings, and I have several on my website that uses the same chain. So if you're like, listen, I do not want that mobile, the mobile thing, we have all different kinds. We also talked about the zodiac. Um, Here, I was going to try to find the cancer. Oh, here I found the cancer for you. For you, Alex, I found the cancer. So we have the cancer, which is the Leo. You're not
I
a
was gonna
cancer.
say,
Forget. Oh,
Melissa.
sorry. I'm sorry. That was
That's
someone
okay.
else. That was the producer. So I
Oh,
have to be
boo.
nicer to her because she tells me what to do. Um,
Yeah.
so there's the Leo, which is actually really cool.
Yes, I love
And
that.
so those are from the 70s. And then we did the state charm. So you can show your state pride, show your school pride. And they're the vintage charm. So everything, again, it may be new beads, but there's the vintage part. So there's a combination. And then we did the Inspire by You, which is the earrings that were inspired by the earrings I made from my grandmother's pieces that are really nice. And there's all other kinds of stuff that you can find on the app. You should check it out. And because things are one of a kind, and as you see, I'm constantly making things. It'll be new stuff on, and See You Soon, Alex will be out tomorrow.
Yes. Music to my ears,
Mhm.
Melissa. Thank you so much
I
for
love.
joining us. We loved
Thank
hearing
you for
about A
having me. This was
Design.
so much
Of
fun.
course, we loved having you and
Thank
hearing
you.
about your process for these pieces. We cannot wait to shop your whole collection in the app, and I cannot wait to see you soon, Alex, on the app tomorrow.
All right, perfect. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for joining, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.